Yes. Yes, we're back. We're back with this KI Culture Radio exclusive. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in, watching in. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell on the right hand side so you never miss a KI Culture Radio exclusive. As you can see, we have one of our old guests, and I'm trying not to blush, one of our old guests from way back, childhood friend, childhood
Mhm.
family, you name it, all over the board. Yanella
Yes.
Gilbert, how you
Hey,
doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, look, you got my teeth all white. I was smiling. You
Aw.
got a smiling on the mouth. Oh, let me try not to blush because you know this is a childhood friend family. You feel me?
Yes, it's
But
elementary.
since elementary, facts since elementary. Not only that, but shout out to you for being on the show. We know it's tax season, and we know we're gonna come to you for the experts, so people can find a way. What is the best way for them to save? So before we go do so you know, tell the people about yourself real quick before we dive into that.
Okay, well, my name is Yanella Gilbert. Well, I guess now officially Dr. Yanella Gilbert.
Right.
Yay!
So I'm getting used to the name change, but yes, Dr. Yanella Gilbert. And I started my own tax business in 2021. That was during the COVID time, and everyone was going through what they were going through. And I decided while I was home and I needed extra, job, and I took myself to school to learn more about it. And I started my business called Advanced Taxes and Credit Services. And I'm going on 4 year, as far as for tax year. And it's going pretty well. I've helped many folks, folks who also been scammed as well from the past. And I like to reevaluate tax returns, not just doing taxes, but to evaluate them to make sure that they're receiving the maximum refund as possible.
Nice. So that being said, go right ahead, Hakeem, and go right ahead, Jordan.
Yanela, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
It's been a while. I just had a blonde moment just now. But so what advice can you give people today, especially since the new administration is in and as they making all these cuts and stuff like that? Where do you think people should navigate around their taxes?
So what I noticed the most, when they give me like their W-2s, most people they would start a new job and they just basically they're not really reading their W-4. The W-4 is what you sign when you get hired in HR, and the withdrawal, your federal withheld, and it's either you want all of your money, you're like, oh, I'll pay taxes later, and by the time you pay tax, when tax season come, you realize you owe, and that's when they're like, whoa, why do I owe so much? So I'm always basically telling my clientele like, hey, you need to learn how to read your W-2. Okay, so box one, that's your gross. That's what you made throughout the year. And box two, that's the magic box. Okay, everyone, if you have a W-2, look at your box two. That's the most important box. You will see how much it's been withheld. So, an easy math that I give people is not the accurate percentage, but I normally tell people your box number two should be at least the minimum 7% of your box one. Okay, so if you let's say you made only $10,000 for the year, your box two, what is 7% out of 10,000? Do the math. I'm not sure, but whatever that is, that just kind of give you an idea that if you made 10,000 for the year, about 7% of that should be in your box two minimum. Okay. Now, if you're making really good money, let's say you're making a little over 70, 80,000 a year, just higher than that, it should be around 10 to 12%. Okay. So you can make sure that there's money, that you're giving back to the federal. So I would say that. And if you're not making decent money, you're making, typical medium, what is it, like middle class, medium salary, I strongly suggest finding a side gig. Okay, because if you want to do some tax write-offs, and that's another way to kind of get some extra money. So there's people who, honestly, in Miami where I live, where Ronnie and I grew up, I think everyone has a third job. Okay, they're
Yep.
either have a food truck, they're doing hair on the side, they're cutting grass. I mean, everyone is hustling, but that's considered a business, and you can claim that. You can claim that and do some tax write-off, and with that, you can claim some expenses that you use coming out of your pocket to do your business. From gas, mileage to the supplies. If you had to rent anything going towards your business, you can claim that. That's another way to kind of hopefully get some additional refund out of it. Or if you owe IRS, you can use that business too to help decrease the amount that you owe, because you have some tax write-offs and it can help bring it down. Either or.
Okay, when it comes to
Okay.
the aspect of crypto, because right now a lot of people are doing a lot of crypto investing. Can you give some people some pointers? Do they have to put that on their tax refund for this year, or should they
Well,
go ahead and skip it?
no. If you receive a tax form, I believe now there's like a minimum of, I don't know the exact number, but there is a minimum of like how much money you have in your crypto. And if you receive any tax form, it would tell you that you have to file it. So there's some who barely have, and they don't have to file it, but there is a percentage. I don't remember on top of my head, but I just tell people whatever tax form you receive, you have to file it. Even if it's a small little crypto and it say you have to file it, just file it.
Okay, I want to go to more specifics of independent contractors, because there's sometimes like if they might work, they might be self-employed, but work with other entities. There's times when they might not get their taxes pulled for the government or for the state, and then a year later they put once they do their taxes and everything, they owe so much money, not knowing that not knowing how maybe to pay while you pay during the before your taxes, or there's sometimes not really knowing the exact number how much that you probably will owe for taxes. For instance, for my wife, she has a business and she's an independent contractor, and where she works at, they really don't take taxes off her from
Mm-hmm.
her contract. But at the end, when she started doing her taxes, she be owing a lot of money. So my question is like, what you suggest an independent contractor do once knowing that they might owe, and kind of wait to expect maybe to pay during, or maybe pay well, not necessarily pay, but make sure they save money to pay their taxes.
Yeah, I mean, so with independent contractors, they do receive a 1099, so technically you work for yourself, but like you said, through a person. So one good example would be Uber. Uber is a perfect example. Okay, so you do work for yourself, but with Uber, they give you a 1099. So that's where I mentioned earlier about tax write-off. Save all the receipts as possible. Sometimes it could be very tedious. I mean, when I say think about every expense you could think of, I'm talking tolls, uniforms, or whatever, because you can use all of that, and it will help bring down what you may possibly owe, or sometimes get a refund. But my number one advice is that if you're with an independent contractor, save money on the side, period. Because you don't owe that. You don't. I'm sorry, no, you don't have money being withdrawn through them. So you may have to owe. So that save money to the side, and then keep an Excel sheet. I actually have an Excel sheet I normally share with my clientele. It's auto calculated of expenses and to keep track. So, and it's divided by months from January to December, and you can literally type in, like, for example, gas, how much gas you put in for that month. So you can use that as a receipt, for any kind of expenses. So yeah, so that normally helps. Now, if it gets to the point where this is the final number, you still owe, I will automatically, do a payment plan right away. Don't procrastinate. And they're pretty lenient. IRS is not that harsh. You can do payment plans as low as $30 a month. Let's say you owe 1,000, you can do $30 a month minimum. Now, what will happen? Let's say the next year, right? You do taxes and you get a refund. That money is going straight to the IRS of what if you have a balance still and you get a refund the next tax year, they will take that money automatically. So there's ways around it, to kind of like, so you're not, feeling broke. Pay the minimum. Try your best to get a refund the next tax year so that you can pay off what you owe. If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense. Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. So, how do you separate yourself from being in a very male-dominated business? And have you dealt with any adversities being a woman, or having male clients? It's like a three-part questions. You know what I mean? And people might question maybe your validity or being able to do the job.
I honestly, I don't think I have that experience. If it, people have their opinions, they keep it to themselves. But if anything, the past experience has been great. If anything, I'm getting more referrals. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, I don't have social media. I don't have any advertisement. I think because of my good grace and wanting to just help people. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you go to someone that actually cares, and you get back what you deserve, or you owe what you deserve, and you're not being used and abused. So I think once people get to know me and my character and willing to help, I think that's the main goal versus my my sex and my gender, versus all of those things. They bypass that, and when they see that I'm an educator, as you can see, doing taxes is like my side gig. I am a full-time educator, so education is honestly like my heart. I love educating people, even with their own taxes. Like sometimes I will just call them like, do you understand your form? It's always a no, but let me tell you at least the basic. I like to teach them. God forbid I'm not here and you got to find somebody else. Now you know what to say, what questions to ask moving forward, so I think people just appreciate me more for that.
And not only that, but what is the biggest mistake a lot of people make when it comes to taxes? Because a lot of people are unaware. They go to sit with a tax advisor, and they don't really give them the overall answer. So, like, what like the primary mistake a lot of people make when they go sit down with a tax advisor?
Mistake.
If you could think one of the biggest mistakes
As the taxpayer or the preparer, like
on
the client,
the taxpayer, the client.
the client itself, the biggest mistake.
Yes.
I would say sometimes they're not truthful. They just kind of make up stuff so that they can get as much money as possible. And at the end of the day, you have to be as honest, because just in case you get audited, because IRS, they do audits and they call you, and if the answers is not as accurate, then there's a fine. If you're claiming like false dependents, there's people, they use their nieces, nephew, a whole bunch of people just to, basically being greedy just to get more refund, but they have to be careful. I'll say another mistake, I don't know if it's a mistake, but the most common issues I've seen the most is like divorced parents. When I say divorce, they don't have to be married, but like, no, you have a child by your spouse, but they're not communicating on who's going to claim that child. That's where the headache comes, because by the time you do all the hard work for your client, because you're claiming the dependent, and then bam, it's a rejection because the other one already claimed the child. There's nothing you can. Once they press submit, is done. It's in. The IRS already took it. So that's another mistake. You need to communicate with your spouse, even though you guys are divorced, separated. Know in advance who's going to do what, per year. So I see that a lot as well. Um, Another one, I would say clients who are not telling the tax preparer if their refunds in the past were disallowed, meaning you owe the IRS. You have to let us know if you owe the IRS, because if we tell you you're getting a refund, you get all excited, your refund drops, but guess what? IRS took it already. You gotta let us know, because by the time we do your files, the very last page of our software is the due diligence. There's about 15 questions we have to answer per clientele. And one of them is like, did you ask your client if their prior returns were disallowed, meaning they owe? Sometimes they lie and say, oh, no, I'll owe. I go by what you tell me. I'm not being affected. You are, but sometimes it can ruin us, because like I have a tax fee, and sometimes clientele cannot pay me the same day, so they will pay me through their refund. But if you lied and say that you don't owe but you owe, that means I won't get my fee either. Because when clients get their refund, the tax preparers also get their refunds too at the same day. That's a way that we get paid. That's how it works.
Okay. No,
You
but
know,
they say if a situation like that occurred, so how do they pay? They gotta pay you out of pocket. So how did that go? So how did that
yeah,
go for?
I will call you. Like, hey, 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 like now you owe me. So the thing is, like, you can lie all you want, but it's gonna come back around eventually, and it's gonna get worse for you later. So just tell the truth so that we can help you now. Like right now. And I could go
Go
on
right
and
ahead,
on.
Jordan.
There's
Send
so
it.
many other
Yeah,
situations.
don't say like.
Yeah, I want to talk about people that they probably got scammed out of their IRS of their tax refunds and everything. Have you seen any or heard anybody become scam artists, scamming people out of their tax refunds?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. I mean, I'm not going to give obviously no names or whatever, but I actually have one good example, you know, of someone who, someone that I know, and they were like, something is just not right. They were telling me that they filed 2 years ago. This is me going back to 2023 tax year, and they were saying that they owe. And I'm like, okay, let me see your returns from that year. And for me, I asked the basic questions like, okay, do you recall how much you made that year? They were like, not much. They made less than 20. They were just an Uber driver, just here and there. But they owe. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, why would you owe if you make less than, you know? So then when I went, I reviewed the return. Honestly, it took me 30 seconds, and I saw what whoever did that person's tax, what they did. So what they did was that they add additional income into that person's return to benefit them. Okay, so I'll break it down in the simplest terms. So let's say, Ronnie, for you, right? Let's say you have a business, and you know how small businesses are giving away a lot of grant money to small businesses, but in order to receive those grant money, you got to have at least 5 to 7 um people working under you, and like there's like a to-do list in order to receive those grants. So what they do in order to receive those grants, they have to show proof that they have a business and they have 7 to 10 people working under them. So they will find innocent people, and honestly, I'll be honest, is the immigrants, the one that come here and they have their TPS, they have their work permit, and they kind of target those people because they don't know anything about taxes. And so the person I worked with was one of them. And back to you, Ronnie, for that example, there will you find innocent people and then they will add additional income into their like income section, uh, like a large amount, like an additional $40,000, like additional, and then they will put their business EIN number to show proof that they have clientele under them, because to get that grant money, they have to show proof. So when I saw that there was I said, hey, did you do this? They're like, what is that? I'm like, well, apparently you made this amount of money. Like, no, I only did Uber. I made less than this. And so long story short, when I had to go through the tax return, I had to file an amendment for that person. So to file an amendment, basically you're reopening the tax return for that year. And me being the new tax preparer, I'm putting that this was false. Previous tax preparer, never earned this money. So for the reason why they owe the IRS, because they were being greedy. So that's scam. That's pure scam, obviously, So because I saw that in this person, I just can't imagine how many more they were doing this
Yeah, how many
to.
people they get? Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
and I
Facts.
felt so bad because this person was doing a payment plan. They were doing their due
Wow.
diligence as an immigrant being here through a program, owing back that they don't even owe. Like, so when I recalculated, like redid it for the amendment, they actually have a refund. They actually have a refund. I forgot how much the refund was. So I'm hoping and praying that IRS review it, they approve it, and all the money that this person was paying the IRS, they get their money back. And I hope they find that person, to
Exactly.
audit
And
that
prosecute them.
person,
Yes.
to
Yes.
reevaluate and shut it down, so
Facts.
that goes for,
Hopefully
yeah.
that person get caught.
Hmm?
I said, hopefully they catch that person.
I hope
Yeah,
I
that's
hope it was the
crazy.
person and all the other people who do taxes, and it's just pure greed. It's just sad. But this kind of opens the question for lenders, small bankers, institutions that's giving money to small businesses to, reevaluate, making sure that their business is legitimate, not some scamming just to get some grant money, so that, yeah. And that's just one example
That's
out of,
terrible.
but that was the worst one that I experienced. I just felt so bad, but they were so
Man.
grateful that I caught it, and it took me 30 seconds. It was right there, but they don't know how to read it.
Mm.
So it's really important to know how to read, once again, your W-2s, any tax forms, and how to read your tax return when you receive your return. Normally it's about 15 to 20 pages, sometimes 40. Who's going to read that, right? You're like, man,
Yeah.
I'm not reading, No, you need to read it. You need to go page by page to make sure it's legit.
Facts.
But returns normally about 15 to 20 pages. But for me,
So,
I know how to read it quickly, so I can scan it real quick.
so
Shout
Miss
out to the
Gilbert,
doc.
yeah, I want to ask you something. So I want to say we appreciate you so much because you gave us an interview. It's been, the last interview you did with us was February 7th, 2022.
Wow. Yeah, that was like
And
that was my first tax year.
you texted and it's February 26th, the same month, ironically. So I want to,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
I want,
crazy. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Yeah.
so I wanted to know, like, what has changed from then to now, as far as you as a person, your growth, and everything, and as you moving forward in this year.
Oh my goodness. A lot changed. Honestly, when I started off in the office. The first 2 years I did in office, but I was able to also get a customized app where people don't have to come to my office. You can do it wherever you're at. So I have my own app. It's free. You download it. So year 2, I realized that I only had maybe 2 or 3, maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 that physically came to my office because everyone used the app. So that second year, I realized I think I was losing money because I was paying, office rent and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So year 3 and 4, which is now, I'm fully virtual. Like I don't need an office.
That's
Um,
what's up.
I don't need an
Congratulations.
office.
And now
So
that you say you had your own app. That's what's
I
up.
do have my own app.
That's
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
through
dope.
Texas. Yeah, Texas to go. So my clientele, and it's so easy. Like you download the app, you create your account, and they're asking like you just literally taking pictures or you upload forms. And then once you press submit, I get it on my side on my software. So yeah, that's awesome. I don't need an office anymore. So for me, growth would be me saving more money because I don't have to pay rent, office rent. You know,
Yeah, but that's smart. That is so smart. It should
yeah,
show you how technology really improved over the years.
technology.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
proud of
yeah,
you. So proud
yeah.
of you. So
Yeah.
final questions, because I know you're a busy woman, so we're
No,
not gonna
I
hold too much of your time.
wait.
So my final question to you is pretty much where the people can find you, where people can go and download this app of yours, even including myself. Where can we go and download this app
Yeah, I
of yours?
mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I don't advertise this year. I didn't last year and this year. I did zero advertisement. It's just word of mouth. Like, I'm growing through word of mouth. So I can give you guys my information, like, the
Right.
app, my name or whatever, but just like that, yeah. Like I said, this is not like my 12 months career. This is a
Yeah.
seasonal job for me.
Correct. Yes.
So
Correct. Correct.
um, every day there's someone calling me, texting me, and I'm just doing their taxes. If they do want to meet with me, then I will call the person and we'll arrange a meetup spot. But like I said, it's
Okay.
very rare. Um, because the app is just so good. It's so easy. Um, but yeah, it's just
But
me,
that's
me and
dope.
him. Yeah, but I'm happy. There's definitely growth. I'm learning year to year, so I just look forward to every tax year. But I've definitely grown 4 years ago to now. Even clientele, like it's growing. It's not declining. It's actually increasing.
Yes. I don't know, guys. You got any
Oh yeah.
final question, guys?
I I got one last question. If you was me, what question you think I should have asked you?
um, Probably. Let's see. You asked that already. I think it's good to know about the standard deduction. Like some people don't understand what that means. Um, like understanding the benefits, like how to get the maximum refund, but
Mm-hmm.
understanding like who actually benefits from it. So just understanding the different types. So right now, for those who are single or married filing single, like normally that's the hardest to kind of get the most benefit, but those who are married filing jointly to head of household normally kind of benefit a little bit more. If you have dependents, of course, kids under the age of 17, they have the $2,000 per child. And if you're in college, there is school credits for that too. So always remember to use that. And then there's the earned income credit. That's only for those who are in that tax bracket. You probably, making like less than 37, 35 around that, you may be eligible for earned income credit. So I think it's good to know because sometimes a client will go by, well, not a client, let's say someone, they go by their sister or brother, they're getting a good refund. Everyone has their own unique case, right, when they do their taxes. So don't ever assume that everyone would get the same amount. Like it's not that easy. Everyone, we have to like self-evaluate what you can earn. But the earlier the better. Like I said, business is always good to have your own business. This year. Now is a good time to find a side hustle so you can claim it next year to do some tax write-offs, but there's ways to to get that. Okay.
Man, that's good. Thank you so much, Yanella. You know we love you. You know we
Of
love you so much.
course.
You
Same
part of the
here.
Chaos Culture Radio family. We're gonna be the biggest thing on the planet. We coming to get you. You're gonna be our tax person. Be coming too. So you can fix
Well, you know what I say.
it. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly where you stay. So I'm like,
You know
hey,
what
I'm gonna knock on it like, hey, we the biggest thing on the planet. We need you to be our tax repair. No, but thank you
yeah,
so
I
much for
know.
tuning in. I know a lot of people gonna
Okay.
we're gonna put the information for the people to come to download your app to reach out to you. So guys, be on the lookout for that on in the description below. Like always, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Chaos Culture Radio exclusive interview.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell on the right hand side so you never miss it when we have this exclusive interview and also when we go live. Like always, thank you for tuning in to Chaos Culture Radio, guys.